What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Post Pro podcast. This is episode 11. Lots of stuff happening in the movie world and movie industry. Crazy stuff. Cineworld and Regal have announced opening July 10th. It's apparently official. And AMC is supposed to open up sometime next month as well.
Wait, is any theater showing Unhinged, right? The Russell Crowe movie? Because that was supposed to come out the first of this month, right?
Right.
Like, you mean, are they showing it right now?
They postponed it. Did
they? Okay.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because
they were supposed to be showing it starting the first, but I don't know if any theaters were open.
I checked the Regal app, and it said that it was scheduled for the 31st or the 10th.
Okay.
It was like one of the first movies that they're going to show.
All right.
Yeah, it looks absolutely bonkers. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not excited for it, but I might see it.
I want to see it. Just because Russell Crowe.
Well, I just want to see. I just want to see a movie in the theater. So
yeah.
I don't know how many Russell Crowe movies I've seen. It's very low.
It might be none, honestly.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not. I haven't seen Gladiator. I haven't seen A Beautiful Mind. Those are like the big two that I remember off the top of my head.
Beautiful Mind is great.
I know he's some other big ones, but
I mean, like The Nice Guys, which I don't think you've seen.
Yeah, that's the other big one.
That's good.
Yeah, I have not. I don't think I've seen a single one.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like one where he was an actor I watched as a child, but
I really like A Beautiful Mind. That's a very good movie.
Oh, I always forget he's in Man of Steel.
Oh yes, he is. He's Superman's dad.
Huh. Yeah.
Anyway.
He's an actor that fell
Yeah.
off though. Oscar noms to
He also gained some weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Unhinged, he looks real unhinged.
I don't think he looks awful though.
No.
But yeah, you're right.
But he definitely won't be playing any more Gladiator roles.
Theaters reopening.
Theaters reopening. Cineworld, Regal, AMC even too.
Wow.
That's it.
Lots of crazy safety procedures for Regal.
For everything, probably.
Yeah, for the little list I got pulled up for Regal, they are going to have contactless payment, and they're going to have ULV foggers, quote unquote, and employees are going to sanitize every auditorium and seat after each movie using a new electrostatic fogger equipment.
The only way I can see that working is if they really cut down on showings, right?
Yeah.
Like, because showings you see one ending every 15 minutes.
We're definitely not going to be able to do the stacked.
Well, they're not going to have a lot of movies either.
Oh yeah. I wonder what they're going to be showing. Are they rerunning a lot of stuff?
I would assume so, yeah.
I will tell you, like, right now on the app, again, the only couple things they have like listed right now on the Regal app, because the whole Regal app was updated today. They have Unhinged opening on July 10th. They have A Broken Hearts Gallery, which is another movie I've never heard of, opening July 10th, and that's it. Those are the only two movies opening July 10th. Yeah. And then, depending on the theater, I'd assume that they would probably do reruns with
I see Mulan, Tenet, SpongeBob, The Burnt Orange Hennessy, Bill and Ted Face the Music. I'll contract Corona to see that. That's important to me.
You're forgetting Monster Hunter.
I'm seeing a couple big ones, but this is really, really, really in the future right now. Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's going to be a work in progress, like from the get go. It's going to be chaos, and I mean, first of all, we aren't going to be able to have a lot of people in there anyway. It's probably going to be like less than 50% capacity.
Oh yeah, I don't understand how they're going to make money.
Well,
me neither.
And they also
nothing to worry about. For
Regal, like with the free popcorn refills and all that, they're not doing that anymore.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So interesting.
It's going to be a lot of angry customers for like all sorts of reasons.
Yeah,
angry employees too.
Yeah, it won't be fun.
Yeah, but on the same way of this, we know Tenet now has been pushed back to July 31st. However, we got Inception re-released in theaters starting the 17th. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Really interesting. And it also confirms Sebastian's Tenet Inception theory.
Yep, it's happening.
Well, not confirmed. It's
confirmed 100%.
I was 7 when Inception was released, so like it's not like I was going to see that one in theaters.
You were 7?
So, yeah.
No, you weren't. You were
Holy
9.
Moly.
2010.
20. You were 9.
Whoa! I was 9.
Okay, I was about to say. Holy cow!
Even Noah knew how old you were when the movie came out.
Because I'm the same age as him.
Yeah,
I forgot about how time worked, just like
Dang.
Inception.
I was 12.
Topical.
no,
But I was not old enough to see that movie in theaters or any Nolan movie at the time, unless I just went anyways.
no, my mom didn't let me see Dark Knight for a while because she was like, "It's too violent for you."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Mom, you
Same.
let me watch Halloween at like age 5. Like, come on, like it can't be that bad."
But I'm really excited to see a Nolan in theaters because this will be my first Nolan in theaters.
And I saw this today. There's going to be a Dune featurette before the Inception re-release.
That's insane.
Oh.
That's not
That's
already an
hype as
incentive
fuck.
to go see it re-released. I
Well,
mean,
not even that. They're going to be showing a
Yeah,
whole bunch
more
of Warner
Tenet
Brothers.
footage.
They're going to be showing Tenet footage, Dune. They're going to be showing Suicide Squad. They're going to be showing like every Warner Brothers like big budget movie they haven't like shown yet. It's going to be kind of like their E3 of trailers before Inception.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So
It's gonna be probably the hypest 15 minutes of trailers in a while.
Yeah, no, literally, because I honestly, out of Warner Brothers, I think Warner Brothers has like a lot of really good movies that are coming out. I really want to sneak peek at, especially, I know this is going to sound funny, but Godzilla versus King Kong, I really do want to see a
Me
little
too.
sneak peek of that, even though I hated King of Monsters.
I didn't even hate King of
Yeah,
Monsters.
so
I
bad.
honestly kind of enjoyed King of Monsters, but that's me.
Well, yeah, that's a completely different topic, but hey, you know,
Colin was not happy at that.
oh no, me and Colin agree on that. I hated it.
Yeah.
It was so bad.
I don't really
respect the
care.
hate.
It's just like, it was really boring to me. I don't
It
know.
was really boring.
It's probably one of my hotter takes from 2019, like just in terms of the films that came out. The other one would probably be the fact that I honestly kind of enjoyed Stuber.
I know.
I didn't even see that.
I can't lie. I thought it was enjoyable. I don't think
Never saw
it was awful.
But like, also speaking of news, I saw just like a really throwaway article. Someone was like interviewing James Gunn about Suicide Squad, and they were like, "Why did you title it The Suicide Squad?" And he was just like, "Well, it was kind of a joke, but one of the other executives liked it, so that's the title of the movie." I was like,
funny,
that's kind of funny, but
it's honestly it's a dumb title. Like,
Yeah.
like how many people are going to differentiate like this movie from the 2016 one? They're going to be like, "Oh, it's The Suicide Squad."
It's kind of crazy that they're giving it another shot, like that property, another shot this early.
Well, yeah, not even that, but it's
know.
like, dude, I really do like the Suicide Squad comics and a lot of like the crazy rogues guy.
I like them too.
Yeah, but it's just they screw that movie up so bad. So
I don't know. I'm excited to see Pete Davidson in our movie because his film career growing is. I like that. I like Pete as a lot in general.
Is he in the Suicide Squad?
yeah.
Yeah, he is.
I know that.
Yeah, every time I hear like any member of the cast of Suicide Squad, it's like such a weird cast.
Yeah, it's a weird cast.
John Cena is part of the cast.
That's not surprising.
That
though.
makes
I don't know.
sense.
Yeah.
John, from the top of my head, from what I can remember, you got like almost all of the returning cast of the original one, and then you have John Cena, you have Pete Davidson.
Smith's coming back. I thought Smith wasn't coming back.
Oh, not
He
Will
said
Smith.
almost.
No,
He said
yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
Idris Elba is gonna be
Nice.
in the movie too, which is kind of odd, I guess.
I love Idris Elba.
Yeah, he's great. But Colin, did you have any more news? Because there's something I'd like to mention.
I did. There were a couple things. The Train to Busan sequel, its trailer was released today. I didn't get to see it.
Really?
Oh,
Ooh.
wow.
I watched
Apparently,
Sorry.
the film's called Peninsula.
Yeah, I saw that part.
Sounds interesting. I saw that Ewan McGregor was recently cast in Guillermo del Toro's remake of Pinocchio as Jiminy Cricket.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that'll work.
I love that.
Wait,
I'm
what
on
is
board.
that? Hold on.
Instantly.
Hold on. Is this for Disney?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a dark
Oh, is it?
action.
If it's darker and they give Del Toro like real reins and real control of the film, I'm totally on board. If not, then
Wait.
it might drop.
Wait, is this seriously the Disney version?
I think it's hard to tell.
The
It looks
film
like it's being produced
kinda
by
dark.
Netflix. So
Because I know Disney has a live action Pinocchio in the works.
Yeah, do they
Wait,
own
wait.
the property though?
okay, I'm on Wikipedia right now. It says produced by the Jim Henson Company and Shadow Machine and distributed by Netflix. So it does look like it's going to be mostly like Del Toro's own thing.
I'm
Okay, that's
so
cool.
excited. I am so excited.
And actually it says Ewan McGregor was cast as Pinocchio, which is weird.
Oh, really?
This might be like a few days old or something. I
Sure,
don't know.
sure.
That's weird. I don't like that much. Is it live action or is it?
It has
It's
to be.
probably a
Yeah.
mix.
I feel like I
Well-
am imagining Pinocchio being CGI.
No, dude, no, because after he said Jim Henson, like that did, the Muppets
Oh,
and all
yeah.
that, there's no way.
Oh.
There's no way it's going to be CGI because that's the Henson company. They're
Yeah,
probably gonna
it's
be
probably
making
puppetry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like maybe Lucas Hedges or Noah Jupe. Those are very different. Probably Noah Jupe. Noah Jupe as Pinocchio.
As
Cool.
Pinocchio, you think Lucas Hedges? I mean, I don't know
No,
really, but I
Hedges
feel like
was
he has
probably
kind of like
a
a
bit.
deep voice.
Hedges was a stretch. I think Noah Jupe would be great.
That's
Sure.
so odd, though. Del Toro doing Pinocchio to me. That's very strange.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Like when I heard that Disney was playing a live action remake of Pinocchio, I'm like, that one is probably gonna be the most terrifying live action remake ever. Because just imagine
Yeah.
Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
Just imagine Jiminy
No.
Cricket. What?
That's why Del Toro
Well-
on this, like, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, Beauty and the Beast was kind of horrific in a sense.
In a non-intentional sense.
Well, arguably, yeah.
Dude, just
I
like
don't know.
seeing Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket in live action is going to be terrifying. Either way, with Del Toro and then with Disney, I don't even want to know what Disney has planned because
If it's meant to be terrifying, then I think this is going to be fantastic. And if Ewan McGregor's on board, I love Ewan McGregor, so I'm on board.
I am too. It's interesting.
It'll
This
definitely
is
be
cool.
interesting. Another thing I saw was that Star Wars Celebration has been canceled all the way until 2022.
I know.
So
It's a damn shame. It's a shame for me. I went to Celebration when I was in Florida. What was that? 18? I think it was 2018. Yeah, it was 2018. I went to Celebration. It was one of the best times of my life. It was so much fun.
I don't know
And
what this
I
is
hope
actually.
That's like
what is it?
It's a Star
it's
Wars
a
convention.
Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
It's like it's like it's like controlled by Disney. It's like their own convention for Star Wars. So like in 2018, the day I went, I only went one day. I think it was Friday. I think Saturday was the day Last Jedi, the first trailer for Last Jedi came out, and they had the big panel with like the whole cast, and Ryan Johnson was there, and like really awkward. Speaking of Ryan Johnson, because that was my pick for this week. We'll talk about Looper in a bit, but Ryan Johnson, there was a bunch of people that slept out. Like camped for the panel because there's no way they were gonna like get into the panel. You literally had to like save your spot in line, so people camped overnight to get into the Last Jedi panel. Ryan Johnson, like at like 12 o'clock at midnight, was going through the crowd of people that were sleeping and like talking to people, and was like it was like I saw videos of it. I'm like, this is
Oh my god,
like,
that's
he literally was, like,
hilarious.
yeah.
That's
And then
so funny.
little did he know those same people would turn their backs on him like that.
And hate his film, yeah. Hey, who knows? There's actually a lot of fans of The Last Jedi.
Oh yeah.
There are, in fact, a lot of
Shockingly.
fans of The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
The
There
last thing I had
No,
written
you said
down.
that was so like the intonation in your voice.
Oh, it's fine.
I have one last thing which I thought was interesting for the movie news. The Oscars have announced recently new rules for Best Picture nominees for next year. And also the Oscars have been pushed back from February to April 2021.
Damn it. Fast Tonight isn't going to get that.
So, I mean, it is an extra month. We'll see how that goes. But I thought this was pretty cool. They're re-implementing an old rule that requires there to be 10 films in contention for Best Picture. I think it's been for a couple of years where they could go up to 10, but I think now it's that requirement is 10. You have to have 10.
Oh, you have to have 10?
I mean, it makes
That's-
sense because there hasn't been even
Yeah.
that many movies this year. So, like,
I mean,
Well,
honestly, like off the top of my head, the only one that's been released. I mean, I guess what's the Netflix one? The Fall or something?
I don't know.
What?
dude, I'm
About
just gonna,
or it's the platform. Wait.
Platform.
Let me-
yeah, that's
wait.
Oh, yeah.
that's the horror
Yeah.
one.
I think like the only two I can think of off the top of my head, I guess the Pixar one that I forgot the name of because that's how
Yeah.
forgettable it is.
Onward?
But it definitely has a shot at least a
The
nomination.
Five Bloods is gonna get nominated.
Five Bloods, Collins fuming.
Well, it's already gonna happen.
Invisible
Like,
Man, Blumhouse
Yeah,
gets
Invisible
their
Man
shot.
has like a shot. So does
I
The Way
think-
Back. So does Emma. But like,
Way back.
Well, we have to
maybe
remember, we have a
Emma.
lot more movies coming out this
Not
year.
know.
really.
yeah.
You know?
I mean,
no. To be
well,
clear, like I
well,
don't think
We
they're
have a lot
necessarily
of
the best.
VOD at the very least.
Yeah.
Mhm. I was just trying to think at this moment right now, even if I could scrap up 10 that the Academy would even think about plausibly nominating for Best Picture.
Like, I think
You
we
can get up
all,
to 10, but
I think we all can agree.
Well,
like,
I think a film like Emma is already chopping block, no way. Including Invisible Man too. It's a horror film in the Oscars.
Well,
Yeah,
like, okay,
but
I
mean,
think we all can agree on this, though. So I think me and Colin, I think everyone here, I mean, mainly me and Colin. Me and Colin, like when we were working together, we'd always be like, God, this year's been like awful for movies. This year's been awful. It's like this is literally the worst year for movies like ever. And what's so sad about that is I was looking forward to this year for movies, and then all that just went down the drain, and it's kind of sad, because it's like
for sure.
this year
Well,
could have.
Oh, I guess we still have Dispatch, Tenet, and Dune still being released too.
And
So
West Side Story.
Yeah.
West Side Story, I think, would actually be a really funny win because it
those
won Best
are.
Picture
I feel like
the
those are
last time.
four
Yeah.
like solid locks. West
I
Side
mean-
Story I'm a bit more iffy about.
No, it's Spielberg.
Really?
If
It's
it gets
Spielberg,
released
yeah.
this
Yes,
year,
it's
it's almost
Spielberg.
definitely going to be nominated.
Especially since they've been working on the movie for so long. It's been in
Yeah.
development
And
for
because
like
it's
Yeah.
like West Side Story, which has already won, it's a musical. I mean, like it's not
Yeah,
impossible
yeah.
that it won't get nominated.
I feel
find it
like
highly
there's a
likely.
possibility of it not being great, but
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
for
either
sure.
way.
Yeah.
So we got 10 spots now. I think the main push was for inclusivity when it comes to VOD and streaming
Yeah.
service movies. And I think this next half of the year will offer definitely more than quality-wise than what we've gotten thus far. So, and apparently this is the first time the Oscars, because the Oscars have done this before back in like late 20s, 30s.
Oh wow.
that makes sense.
Which I thought
All
was
right.
kinda neat.
Is that it for news? Because I do have something that I think is slightly interesting I wanted to mention.
That's all I got, so take it away, Sebastian.
Okay, so everyone knows here about Stephen King and how notorious. Well, I wouldn't say notorious, just how famous he is and how great he is, and all of his properties are pretty great.
I think I've
So-
heard this.
On Twitter, he decided to say, and I quote, "Just thinking." Oh no, sorry, I missed the first one. The best novel idea I never wrote and probably never will is Jason, the first-person narrative of Jason Voorhees and his hellish fate, killed over and over again at Camp Crystal Lake. What a hellish existential fate! And he goes on saying, "Just thinking about the legal thicket one would have to go through to get permissions makes my head ache and my heart that too. But gosh, shouldn't someone tell Jason's side of the story? Blumhouse could do this as a movie."
Oh, he said Blumhouse. Why do you include Blumhouse?
I mean, to be fair, Blumhouse,
Money.
like,
I don't know, money.
yeah, well, I mean, unpopular opinion. I think Blumhouse is honestly a pretty good production company, and they make
I
a
think
ton of
that.
money.
They're
And-
good at making money. I don't think they're
well,
good at
not
making
even that, but like,
films.
I disagree. They have lots of good.
I
movies.
think every single one of their really good movies is because the director of that film was able to spearhead it.
I mean, yeah, I think that's what Blumhouse is
But-
really trying to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Blumhouse also they literally you go to Blumhouse, you're like, hey, I have an idea. They're like, all right, here's $5 million. That's literally
Yeah,
how
yeah.
Blumhouse works. Like,
But
they're
if there's a
in it.
better studio that can have more help than just handing someone money, then that film could be much better.
I mean, say what you want about them, they are kind of the forefront of horror right now.
I agree, and I don't really like that personally.
But
It's my
A24 is coming out of
Yeah.
right field. So
I think if A24 could do that and make it like some sort of A24 film, then that'd be cool as fuck.
but Blumhouse.
But then
has
again,
all
it is
these, like-
Jason,
Yeah.
You gotta understand your property.
Hey, artsy Jason.
Artsy Jason, I don't know.
I just thought it was
Oh.
kind of cool because I was like, when Stephen King tweeted that, I was like, you know what? That sounds kind of like a cool idea.
Oh, I think it's a great
Especially
idea
for
sure.
a book. I mean, I'd read. I've read almost every Stephen King book, and I have almost every Stephen King book,
Wow.
and that definitely just seems like something that Stephen King can pull off. And again, the rights with Friday the 13th are some of the worst copyrights out of all of the film industry. It is just an absolute train wreck. If you guys don't know, it's just even talking about it, it's mind blowing.
Actually, never seen a Jason movie.
No.
Huh.
That's kind of crazy. They're
I have.
I mean, I've seen all of them. They're really you have to have a
Casey,
special place.
corny.
They're really corny, but like after like Friday like part 3, they just go downhill, but on purpose.
yeah.
Like because they
Jason
realize
X.
just like, yeah, Jason X, Jason Goes to Manhattan. Like all of those movies, they knew what they were doing. They were
Sure.
ridiculous, just off the wall horror movies.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I like them so much, especially with Halloween. I don't really like the later Halloweens, but like after Halloween, like 3 or 4, they get completely off the walls with like Curse of Michael Myers. With like,
I've only seen Friday the 13th. That's it.
you haven't seen Halloween?
So, Jason. not Michael.
We were talking about Jason.
Oh yeah, well Jason, yeah, I mean the reboot was okay. I've seen all.
Yeah.
I have seen like every like mainstream.
Yeah, you've seen
horror
every
movie
horror
available.
movie under the
Yeah,
sun, dude.
I have. I haven't even logged them on Letterboxd. That's how many I've seen. Like I can't even I mean serious. I can't even log every horror movie I have seen on Letterboxd. That's how many I've seen.
I mean, you definitely can. It just probably take a day or two.
Yeah.
There's a difference between can and won't.
Okay, come on, Thomas.
Well,
Okay,
I mean, technically, yeah, you're right. But dude, I have seen
Yeah.
probably 1,000. I have seen so
Yeah.
many B movies. I've seen so many like YouTube horror movie. Yeah, I can't even go into the amount of movies I've seen.
Do you have a list
I believe
of
it.
all of them?
I could not, Colin. I'd have to. It would take me days to figure out what horror movies I have watched as a
Go
child.
through literally every horror movie ever made.
Probably.
Looking through a list.
Sebastian just links us like a Wikipedia article on every horror movie made. These are the ones I've seen.
And I've seen all of them.
You guys want to move on to the what we watched this week?
Well, we got 5 minutes. You want
I can honestly do mine real quick.
Yeah.
I'm short.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
Yeah, all right. So I only watched 2 this week. Been kind of busy, but that's okay. That's all right. That one's for you, Sebastian. So I watched Old Joy, which is a Kelly Reichardt. Is that how you pronounce his name? Her name. It's the director who's doing First Cow, which is done, just needs to get released sometime soon. And it's one of her earlier films, 2006. It's only like 70 minutes long. It's incredibly short, but she does do a really good job at like building characters. But that's kind of it. The acting's okay. It's paced pretty poorly, in my opinion. I don't think it's substantial enough for how slow it is. Yeah, there's not much to talk about on that one. I recommend checking it out, especially if you're excited for First Cow, and I am. But besides that, it's not the most mind-blowing thing in the world. And after that, I watched Looper, which I liked more than expected. But we'll talk about that later.
I just wanted to say something about Kelly Reichardt. We watched one of her films in my one of my film classes. I think it was my film theory class. It's called Meek's Cutoff. And the interesting thing is, like, most of her films are pretty well received from critics and audiences. Yet I'm kind of in a similar situation with Meek's Cutoff as you were with Old Joy. I didn't like it at all. I mean, it was so boring. Apparently her style is known for very slow, patient.
Slow, developmental, in a sense.
Sure, yeah. And I don't know. I haven't seen Old Joy and you haven't seen Meek's Cutoff, but I was bored out of my mind when I saw that movie.
Yeah. I was like, I mean, I eventually just lost most attentiveness to it. And I think it has a solid ending, but I don't think there's enough there. Solid film, though. Recommend you check it out just to have a sense of that and form your own opinion.
I probably won't.
Yeah. All right. Free on YouTube, though.
Oh, okay. You should have mentioned that first. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, probably.
All right, so this week, coming in with about 10 movies. Okay, so first I watched The Bling Ring, which is Sofia Coppola's, I don't think it's her most recent movie. I think it's like her penultimate movie. I mean, that's not right, but
One of the first movies that A24 made.
Yeah, that's the main reason I mean, I like, what is it? Lost in Translation well enough, but I don't really love it or anything.
I'm the same way.
And honestly, I feel kind of the same way about The Bling Ring. It's based on a true story of like teenagers in California. I forget exactly where. I mean, LA generally, I guess. Who robbed celebrities' homes while they were like hosting parties or filming in New York or whatever. And I mean, honestly, with a lot of like based on an article movies, I'm kind of like, yeah, that was fine. Like, I don't really dislike it, and I guess it was interesting, and like it was well acted, but I don't know. I just can't ever see myself rewatching it.
That's me with like Hustlers. Hustlers was okay to me.
I honestly like Hustlers a bit more, just because I do think Jennifer Lopez is really good in it. But yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I think all the acting in Hustlers is pretty solid for sure.
The one thing I know about. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just think
Honestly-
Jennifer Lopez is like better than. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Like, yeah, I think everybody's good. Whatever. I don't know. Okay, yeah.
The one thing I had heard about on the Bling Ring was that its lighting and is odd. It's an odd choice of.
I mean, lighting in a lot of indie movies and A24 movies is odd. So, I mean, like it is, I guess, but it's not like that unusual. I don't know.
Sure,
It's
yeah.
not like, and I guess I wasn't paying that much attention to the lighting, but I mean, it wasn't that strange, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it
I
was
didn't
well
hate
lit,
the
at
lighting
least.
in like Vast of Night, and you mentioned it not being amazing. I guess I just wasn't paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Colin, you're definitely the most film. You have the most
Attentive to
film
details.
knowledge
Yeah.
out of all of us here, probably.
Thank you.
Okay. So anyway, then I watched Inside Man, which is my second Spike Lee movie, and I think the only movie, maybe like the only of two movies that he didn't actually end up doing any writing work on. It's a heist thriller starring Denzel Washington and Clive Owen, which is interesting because I think Clive Owen is maybe like my first movie that I've seen with him, because he's kind of like a big name, but I don't think I've really seen him in anything. Anyway, it's really good. It's a solid heist. I guess there's nothing particularly special, but I mean, I don't know. Like, it has nice twists and everything, and I think it's pretty good. And then I watched Alien Covenant, which I actually ended up really liking, and I don't like Prometheus. So,
All right,
that's
I'm gonna
interesting.
go.
Damn.
Yeah.
I
Are you-
liked it
are you the
better than
opposite?
Prometheus.
Yeah.
Are you the opposite, Sebastian? Do you like Prometheus?
I like Prometheus more than Alien Covenant because at least Prometheus didn't take a giant dump all over the alien lore.
Sure. Do you like Prometheus, though, or do you just hate it
No,
less?
I hate it less, but Alien Covenant, I don't like it specifically because it just takes a giant dump all over the alien lore, and it just like it was so unnecessary in my opinion. It was literally just because Ridley Scott was bored. That's just what it felt like to me. Like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have this really awkward scene with robots kissing and making out and playing flutes, and then one of them makes the aliens. I thought that was just really unnecessary.
But that exists? Oh,
Yeah.
it sounds awful.
Yeah, Thomas, you got to watch
No.
the Alien franchise.
I definitely do.
Well, I mean, honestly, you probably won't like Prometheus or Covenant, but I don't know. I think Covenant is really interesting, like pretty much for the exact reasons that Sebastian mentioned. I mean, I wasn't really going to spoil it, but whatever. I mean, I don't know. I really like Fassbender's performance, both of them, but especially David, which is like the British one. I just think it's really interesting sci-fi. Like, I don't know. I just think it is like a type of movie that doesn't exist, where it is a very nihilistic movie, but there's still someone to root for, which I would say is, in this case, David, and to some extent Walter, which is the other Fassbender robot. But I don't know. I mean, like, and I get not liking it, because whatever. And another reason I like it is because it does actually... I feel like Covenant has more of a reason to exist than Prometheus, whereas Prometheus raises a lot of unanswered questions on the alien lore. Covenant actually answers quite a few of them, like you said, with him creating the aliens and stuff. And even if you don't like that, I definitely think Covenant has like more to say than Prometheus, if that makes sense.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. And then Little Miss Sunshine, which I don't really like.
I agree with you. And like all
I mean-
aspects, I think it's incredibly overrated.
Yeah, I don't really care about overrated, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, like the first 10 minutes are like, oh, it's going to be like a comedy of manners in a sense, but also like sort of a drama with like a bunch of archetypal, well, I guess like family archetypes. And then, but it's going to play with them and overturn them. And I feel like the way in which it like uses the family archetypes is really not that good. Like, it doesn't really upend your expectations that much, except for like in the obvious way with Paul Dano, which
Oh, okay. I love Dano's performance in that film, though.
no, to be clear, like I like everybody's performance. I think they're all
Yeah.
really great.
The performances
don't-
are definitely the best part, in my opinion.
I guess. I think he's easily the worst written character though, because he's just like such an emo teen, and at the end it's like, oh well, he wasn't actually emo all along, and it's like, great, I did not see that coming at all. Most obvious thing in the world. Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
That's
That's probably one of my the parts of the movie I'd like a lot more.
I mean, I guess we disagree.
Yeah. We have the same rating for it, but I guess we disagree on that point. Oh, I actually rated it half a star higher than you.
Yeah. I mean, I think like Kinnear and Colette are definitely more interesting, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing else really works for me.
I just love Paul Dano in general. Like, I feel like definitely might be an unpopular opinion, but I feel as if Paul Dano's performance in There Will Be Blood rivals and almost for me surpasses Daniel Day-Lewis's in like an insane sense. I love Dano in that film, and the second I saw There Will Be Blood, I was Dano fan for life.
Yeah.
I think it's an equally as impressive performance.
Oh yeah,
especially going against like across from Daniel Day-Lewis, who is
oh my god,
revered, and also kind of intimidating for lots of.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
He's actually Paul Dano has directed a film called Wildlife that I really want to watch. I haven't got around to.
Yeah, I think after or like while maybe watching Little Miss Sunshine, I like realized that he directed that movie, and I was like, oh
cool.
Okay.
Have you seen it? Did you watch it?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, I do want to.
I just knew because it's actually getting a Criterion release sometime soon.
Oh, that's
Really?
interesting.
Yeah, Criterion likes it a lot, but Criterion and Dano are like friends. Mr. Criterion and Mr. Dano.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so on to The Other Guys, which was a Wahlberg Farrell movie directed by Adam McKay, who did The Big Short and Vice, among other things. It's bad. I mean, I don't know. I don't really like it.
It's good. It's funny.
That was really funny. Noah, it's bad. Colin, it's good.
I think it really is just up to like your comedy tastes.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
I do like some like, I don't think this is like Apatow produced, but you know, it's like in that genre of Apatow type films. And I do definitely like some Apatow films, although I haven't seen a lot. But I don't know. It just didn't really work for me. Whatever.
It's a stacked ass cast though. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I prefer Adam McKay's like straightforward comedies like Anchorman or The Other Guys over like Vice and The Big Short.
Yeah. Well, I don't like The Big Short either, but
Do you like Vice?
I don't know. And I haven't seen any other movies.
Oh, okay. I was asking if you'd liked / seen Vice.
Right. Okay. And then I watched The Five Bloods, Spike Lee's new movie, which I found...
No, not movie, Spike Lee's new joint.
It's just
Get it
new
right.
joint.
Okay.
Right, yeah, come on.
I mean, do we want to talk about this now, or do we want to get into it more later?
I think all of us except Thomas. Did Thomas see it?
No,
Thomas
I was
didn't
planning
see it.
on it, but like I said, I was pretty busy.
Well, 3 of us have seen it. So.
How about
So
before we move on to Looper, we just briefly go
Yeah,
over
let's do that.
Sounds fine. Yeah.
Sure.
I'll just be sitting here in my own little corner.
Okay. So after that, The Death of Stalin, which is Armando Iannucci's, no, not his most recent movie, because he made David Copperfield.
Yeah, Personal History of David Copperfield has come out. I want to see that.
Anyway, The Death of
releases
Stalin.
on my birthday. Birthday?
Birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks, Carlson.
So Armando Iannucci is someone whose comedy I find pretty interesting and pretty funny, and it translates across. Well, actually, no. I think this is the interesting thing. So I have not seen The Thick of It, which is I think like the first thing he worked on, which is a British satire show. And then I have seen some of Veep, but not all of Veep. And I have seen In the Loop, which was like sort of a continuation. And anyway, The Death of Stalin is very similar both in comedy and in just like style generally. I mean, you can tell it's made by the same guy, which makes me actually interested to see David Copperfield, because I don't know how much of a comedy
Yeah, it seems more like a drama. That's why I was really interested in it. I love that trailer. And
Sure,
I liked Tilda Swinton, and I don't remember the guy's name right now. The Slumdog Millionaire dude.
Me neither.
He's also in
Dev
Lion.
Patel. Dev
Yeah,
Patel.
thank you.
Oh, sure, yeah. So anyway,
Not
The Death of
sure.
Stalin. Well, I mean, not really talking about that movie. Whatever.
Yeah.
The Death of Stalin, I think, is very funny, but I think is, I mean, like I said, I've only seen Veep in The Thick of It, but I think I like those two better, just because I think his comedy translates a little weirdly when it's being projected on like a different country in a different time. I mean, it's not even that like I mind the historical accuracy necessarily. It's just I think his comedy works incredibly well, like contemporarily and in like Britain and the US. So I don't really know why he chose to make The Death of Stalin, although I do like I still think it's good. I just think it's slightly less interesting than his other movies.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious.
I
That's
don't
like the type of comedy I like. So.
like it that much, to be honest.
I still haven't seen it.
Honestly, the main thing that bothered me with Death of Stalin was the lack of Russian accents, especially for how historically accurate it is with like the naming and all that stuff. It's not a big deal, but I also don't like most of the jokes didn't get me, but there were a couple that I just found killer.
Yeah,
but that's my opinion.
But I don't know. That's kind of strange because there's a lot of like shows and movies that like they're really historically accurate, but they choose not to like hire actors that are like like of the ethnicity. Like I mean Chernobyl. I don't know if any of you've seen Chernobyl. Yeah, it's all like English people talking. That was definitely not the case when Chernobyl happened. So
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely outsourced people like helping from other countries, but I haven't seen it. So if their characters are actually from I don't remember where Chernobyl happened. I feel like I'm being stupid right now.
Russia.
Okay, that was my assumption. Was it Ukraine?
Russia and
so,
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if their characters were meant to be from there, then having the accent's kind of weird. But I've also heard Chernobyl's like an undeniably masterpiece and one of the best things ever created. So what do I know?
I feel like there was something I was. Oh yeah, right. I think I do prefer Death of Stalin if it's going to be a comedy to have just like straight up American and English actors doing a mix of American and English accents instead of like them speaking Russian or with Russian accents. I think that would just like distill the comedy in a way that I wouldn't really need. But I still think it's just a weird choice in general to make a Soviet or, like generally not English or American.
I would have much preferred Russian accents. Not speaking in Russian, but with like Russian accents.
It probably would have been a lot funnier if they were like fake.
Really
exaggerated
bad
Russian accents.
That would have been amazing.
Like blah.
Yeah. But like that's just my opinion.
Well, Stalin is dead.
Stalin is dead.
Dead.
They just like do their best Gru impression.
Oh, that could have been a really good bit where like Steve Buscemi drops his Russian accent in like the middle of a dinner and it's like sorry.
You're right, Thomas. That would have been a great bit.
That would have been funny as fuck.
Whatever. I mean, we got the movie we got. Moving on to Green Room, which is, I mean, I guess most people have probably heard of that, right? It's like a thriller set
I've seen
in
it.
a green room.
I want to watch it. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me a lot, not only because of name, but just like general setting and overall dynamics of Panic Room, which I talked about a few weeks ago. And like Panic Room, there's not really a lot to say. It's a good thriller, well-directed, well-written. I mean, I don't know. I just think if you like thrillers, you'll like Green Room. Did anyone want to say something, Colin? Sorry.
Okay. No. I mean, I've seen it. I thought it was all right.
Yeah, I've seen it too.
I've seen clips of Patrick Stewart's performance, and that's really good.
No, I mean,
yeah, right. I did forget about that, but yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of like those type of movies. Just remind me of Saw. I think Saw is just like two in my head. Like when it comes to like single room horror.
I don't know. I really like the song "Nazi Punks." Fuck off by the Dead Kennedys. Does that count?
Yes,
Have I seen the film now?
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
Cool.
All right, logging on Letterboxd right now.
Great. Okay. Then I watched possibly the greatest movie of the 2000s, Josie and the Pussycats.
Hello.
Hi.
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 We brought home a rotisserie chicken if you're hungry.
Oh,
Heck yeah.
Let's eat that chicken, baby.
Dude, 2 for 2. I mean,
Yeah,
first we got
honestly.
the dad, now we got the mom. I mean,
I wasn't even there the first time, but anyway. Josie and the Pussycats, yeah. I don't know. I don't really know if I had like a coherent thought about it. It's a musical satire made in 2001 based off of the comic book. Honestly, I feel like it's not really that worth talking about if other people haven't seen it. I just think it's a really well done satire. It has great songs. It looks like the early 2000s, like MTV. It's just, I don't know. I think it's really great. It's an incredibly funny movie. It's like one of the funniest. Well, I mean, obviously, comedy is subjective, but I find it one of the funniest comedies of all time. I think it's great. I think it's a masterpiece. Check it out if you haven't seen it already. Okay. Then I watched Lust, Caution, which is an Ong Lee movie written by James Schamus, among others. But James Schamus has written most of Ong Lee's movies, or at least
Ong Lee?
Visionary director?
There
Gemini
it is.
Man?
Gemini Man.
You made a person out of another person? You can't do that.
That's a good movie, you guys. Anyway, so Lust, Caution is...
I've seen the Gemini Man trailer.
Too many times.
Yeah,
20,
apparently.
20 times at least.
Like every time I bring up
30
Ong Lee.
times.
Because he's a visionary director.
He's from the visionary mind of Ang
Okay,
Lee. I
okay.
could probably recite that trailer if I tried.
That's not. So Lust, Caution is... Okay, actually, whatever. It's a foreign... Okay, because Ong Lee is Taiwanese, but I think this movie is subtitled in Chinese because it's set in China. It's a little confusing also because it's set like 50 years ago. So, power and, just dynamics were like different. Anyway, it's about Japanese occupation of China during World War II. And it's like a political spy thriller about Chinese students, drama students specifically, who over summer break decide to infiltrate part of the Japanese... I guess it's like not entirely clear who they are, but they aren't like military people. They're more just like people who are rich, I guess, and working with the Japanese. So, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a very interesting premise, and it is a political thriller, but then it's also like it gets weirdly sexual and sexually violent. So definitely don't watch it if you don't like that type of stuff. It's hard to tell like how much of it is rape or not, because they're like infiltrating, so they can't really be like, oh yeah, I don't want to have sex with you, because then their cover would be blown. But anyway, I do think it like plays with that dynamic a lot. Like, it's specifically focused on one woman. And
Thank you. Please stop.
Hey.
Please leave.
2-in-1 video? This is incredible.
No, but anyway, so I do think Lust, Caution, it plays with sexuality in a way that's very interesting. And like, obviously don't watch it if you don't like that sort of stuff, but it's never like that violent, I guess. It's more just shot in a violent way.
Sure.
I
hadn't even heard of it, so it sounds interesting though.
Yeah, I think it's... I mean, like I talked about Ride with the Devil and how that's like very underseen, and I think this is also very underseen. I mean, like for obvious reasons. I think it was NC-17 and it was banned in some countries. Okay, and finally, I guess both of these were earlier today, both Lust and Caution, and Obvious Child, which is a Jenny Slate A24 movie. One of the earlier A24 movies, I think it was 2014, although I don't know if that was like festival debut or wide. Anyway, it's a rom-com. It's pretty short, and I definitely like it. I think Jenny Slate is incredible in it, and it has a bunch of good actors like Richard Kind and David Cross, stuff like that. But I think the main problem of the movie, to be clear, I like it, but I think it focuses a little too much on the male love interest who's very boring, and the movie doesn't really address it. Like at first I thought it was going to be like, oh, she's so weird and he's so normal. How are they ever going to like stay together? But then the movie just kind of like progresses in a normal fashion, and it's short enough, and he doesn't have that much screen time, so it's definitely fine. But I don't know, not as good as I would have liked, I guess.
I like Jenny Slate a lot too. I've been interested in that one for a little bit.
No, she's very good in it. Like, she's incredible.
Cool. Check it
I'm
out.
trying to remember what I saw her in. I know she was in Secret Life of Pets. Oh,
She's
Venom.
she's
in
Mona
Venom.
Lisa. Oh, she
Venom.
is.
Gotta get
Venom. Yeah, cool. That's a lot for our 5-day period, dude. We watched a lot of movies.
Yeah. Well, yeah, whatever. Okay. Great.
No, it's not offensive. It's pretty cool.
No, I know. Who's next?
I'll go
Collin?
next.
Thanks. Sebastian called dibs on
Oh
last.
yeah, forgot about that.
Yeah. So
Love you, Sebastian. It's a dumb joke.
What?
Oh, I said I love you. It's a dumb joke.
I'm about to cut this episode down quite a
Yeah,
bit.
come on, Thomas.
Okay, here we go. I started off the week with Catherine Bigelow's Zero Dark 30, which I was really impressed by. I, of course, really enjoy true story films, and this was essentially the intelligence agency and everyone coming together post 9/11 to track down and get rid of Osama bin Laden, and all the way up to the SEAL Team 6 raid, which, by the way, that finale set piece was absolutely amazing. I think just the level of tension and buildup throughout the entire film leads up to that, and it's just spectacular to watch. And for a 2.5-hour movie, I was really impressed with how well-paced it was, and how it just flowed and how the time went by. It was really interesting, very investing. I think the performances definitely elevate that. Jessica Chastain is really good. Jason Clarke was really good as well. I mean, everyone's really good, and it definitely details more of the event and everything that leads up more than characters, which was part of my issue. I really liked how it focused on the event because it was very interesting, gave you a lot of detail and all. But at the same time, I really wanted more of Jessica Chastain's character. And I think she does have a really interesting arc, especially considering the last scene. I just wanted a bit more, I guess. I don't know, I just wanted a bit more from her character, especially.
Was it Zero Dark 30, or was it the other big Bigelow film
Zero Dark.
One Best Director?
Hurt Locker won.
Yeah,
And
Best
I think
Director.
Zero Dark 30 was maybe.
Hurt Locker was she was the
2009.
first. Well, no, she was the first female director to win Best Director, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, monumental.
That one Best Picture as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Her Walker is really good.
Yeah, I want to watch both those, and I also want to watch Point Break because I like Keanu Reeves a lot too.
I had only seen Detroit before seeing this, which is also really good. But yeah, I really enjoyed Zero Dark 30, and that the build up to that finale is amazing. Also, Chris Pratt's in this, which was surprising.
He's in a lot of like weird movies.
Yeah,
it was a fun little cameo.
He's in Her, but his role in Her is decently substantial. I like him a lot in Her too.
Sure.
It was just interesting to see. I was like, oh hey, and Joel Edgerton's in there too.
Yeah.
I followed up that with Mel Gibson's Mayan epic Apocalypto, which I didn't really care for. And this is kind of a hot take, but I just didn't get much of anything from this movie. The production design, aesthetic, and all the set pieces were pretty amazing. Have any of you guys seen this?
Yeah, I'm a big Mel Gibson fan, so.
Okay. I just, I mean, the effects and makeup and, like I said, set production design, all that was amazing. The action was pretty entertaining as well. I just felt like the movie was made more into an action film than an actual like character study or depiction of this very interesting civilization. And so I just, character-wise, plot-wise, it didn't really do much for me. I was pretty bored. And I mean, none of these people who acted in it are actors. But they did a decent enough job, but I felt like tonally it got a little too over the top and exaggerated for me. And there was also some odd humor that didn't really make much sense. I think the best part of the film for me was that ending, because I wish that there was more of that, if you know what I'm talking about, Sebastian. Yeah. I wish there was more of that for the actual plot of the movie rather than what we got. I thought that ending was...
No, I agree. I think Apocalypto, I mean, in all honesty, I really do like Mel Gibson's like directing, and I don't really have a problem with any of his movies. But Apocalypto is probably his weakest movie out of his whole filmography. Like, I mean, it's very it's visually appealing. I like the soundtrack too. I think everything about it, production wise, is really good, but the plot's just not really all that
weak.
great. Yeah, it's okay, but Mel Gibson has done far better movies, and he's always a director I'm very, always looking forward to seeing his new movie, because I liked Hacksaw Ridge a lot. I know it has a lot of problems too, but
I think this is the first film I've seen of his that he's directed. I haven't seen.
Really?
Yeah.
You haven't seen? Well, Colin, you love true story movies. You should really watch Hacksaw Ridge.
I want to see Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah.
Dude. Yeah, it has some really bad CGI, but my God, like this is why I really love Mel Gibson. He really just he'll make a movie, and like, again, I had no idea about Hacksaw Ridge, and the fact that really did happen, like, I really highly recommend that movie. It's just incredible, like the true stories he pulls out, because that one is probably one of the most amazing stories I have ever heard in my entire life. It's absolutely incredible.
I also want to see Passion of the Christ.
I like that movie too.
Yeah. And so after Apocalypto, I followed that up with Spike Lee's new joint, The Five Bloods, which will...
You said it right. You said it right.
Yeah. Thank you. I yeah. Well, so we'll talk about that in a minute. Follow that up with a French fantasy drama of sorts called Holy Motors, which I don't even know how to explain it, guys. It's I can guarantee.
I know it's insane.
Yeah.
That you won't see a film like Holy Motors. There's no film like it, but I can't guarantee you'll like it. And I'm kind of like on the fence. Like, I enjoyed a lot of aspects of it, but I also was just like totally confused the entire time.
The poster confuses me.
So, without giving anything away, the movie essentially follows a businessman who holds an odd job as he travels to appointment over 24 hours. And each appointment is weird, and the film is very meta, and it has a lot to say on the film industry and acting as a profession as well, which I found interesting. It's just sometimes things like I would think I would know what was going on. I would know what was going on, and then I would be like sidelined by some completely thing that threw me off. It's definitely a film I'd recommend for the experience. I'll leave it at that, because like I said, it's unlike anything you'll ever see. It's a strange film. Oh, I just want to say there's this amazing accordion scene about midway through the movie. It blew my mind. It was so cool.
Okay.
So,
an accordion.
I expected you to say funny, but I'm interested now.
It is funny. Like, so one of the things is, like, this movie has so many tones thrown together, but it works because literally anything goes in this movie. It establishes that pretty early on. So, like, anything works. So I laughed. And I laughed at legitimately funny things, but I also laughed at like things that may not come off as intentionally funny, but it still works because it's so bizarre and absurd. So just watch it. Just watch it. It's cool. It's strange.
Like, is it like room level comedy, or like what are we talking about here?
No. It's not like unintentionally funny, in the like incompetent way that The Room is. This is a really well-made movie. The score I loved. I mean, the cinematography is really good. The performances are really good, and the style is uniquely interesting. It's just like, it's funny because of how weird it is. I'm
gonna watch that.
Yeah, just check it out. After Holy Motors, I watched Looper, which we will discuss here later. And then I finished off the week with, I just wanted to watch something simple, easygoing. So I watched the Simpsons movie. And, it's fine. I've never been a big fan of The Simpsons. I really haven't seen much. But it was enjoyable. It was a simple plot, simple stakes movie. I laughed quite a bit, although there were some duds. There were some, as with any movie, you're of course going to get some jokes that just don't hit at all. But I did laugh quite a bit watching this. I just found it, like, for an 80-some minute movie, the pacing was pretty inconsistent, and it did feel a little long. Like they were just trying to pad the runtime to get to feature length. But it was fine. I enjoyed it.
I actually like The Simpsons quite a bit. Like, I wouldn't call myself the biggest fan, but even then, I'd still agree with like your review.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. I don't think I'll really remember.
Like, even the film itself is out of like the golden age of The Simpsons, but I definitely think it's much better than quite a bit of the old, like the newer stuff that's been coming out recently.
Oh, I totally agree. I think the old Simpsons is pretty great, but
it's like godlike levels of TV.
Yeah,
there's a reason the show lasted for so long.
I mean, I prefer Futurama any day of the week, so.
Haven't actually seen Futurama yet.
You are missing out, my friend.
I'll check it out.
But yeah, so that was all I watched.
So, this week in movies, I thought I only watched 5, but then as I recalled, I think I watched a little bit more, but they were kind of on in the background. So I'll start. I watched both of the Ghostbusters movies. And Ghostbusters 1, I think, is a masterpiece. I think it's a phenomenal film. And again, if you haven't seen it, I mean, what are you doing with your life? Please watch Ghostbusters.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's a classic. And then I watched Ghostbusters 2, and I hadn't watched Ghostbusters 2 in a long time because it's not really my favorite. And upon rewatching it was just like, it's a very odd movie. It was like, they did not know what to do, like, with a sequel. They were just like, oh, Ghostbusters. Yeah. And it's fine. It's okay. It has its moments, but overall, I mean, the first one, I mean, nothing will ever be as good as the first Ghostbusters in terms of, like, just the way Ghostbusters just was made. It's just incredible to me. It's just like this crazy idea, and then the characters treat it so seriously. I think that's why I find it so funny. And I think that's why it's like a comedy masterpiece, in my opinion, because, I mean, people hunting ghosts is just, it's really funny, and especially when they take it very seriously. Anyway, so, you know, Ghostbusters was pretty good. Then I watched The King of Staten Island, the new Pete Davidson movie. Yeah, the new Pete Davidson movie. It was okay. Bill Burr and Pete Davidson were really, really good in the movie. Other than that, there's not really much to say about it. I thought it was okay. It's kind of like a semi-biography about Pete Davidson. It was all right. I gave it 3 stars, but I mean, it, you know, I'm kind of thinking about it. It really wasn't that good, but it was okay. It's definitely worth a watch. It was pretty funny at parts, and I think Pete Davidson is really, really good in the movie. Other than that, nothing really too crazy about it. I'm kind of glad it got released on VOD because I could not see myself watching that in a movie theater. Then I watched the Tenacious D movie.
Yeah. Love the Tenacious D movie. Tenacious D and the Thick of Destiny.
Yeah, the Thick of Destiny. So it's been a while since I watched it, and I saw like a Tenacious D meme, and I'm like, you know what? It's been a while since I've watched this movie, so I kind of threw it on when I was doing some homework, and you know, I was paying attention and I was laughing. It's such a timeless movie, and you know, I'm a big Tenacious D fan. I'm a big Jack Black fan.
Fucking Amy Adams is in it too, right?
Yeah, dude. There's some.
Is she really?
Yeah. She's a love interest of some sort.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl plays Satan.
Yeah, which is pretty great.
Oh my god. One of my favorite memes ever is Dave Grohl on the drums. You know, top text, bottom text that thing up. Let's go.
Again, very good movie. You know, it's definitely not for everybody, but I don't know. Tenacious D is just kind of a special band, in my opinion. They're just like so like they're so ridiculous, and that's just why I like them. Like it's just like it's literally Jack Black in band form. It's pretty great. Anyway, highly recommend that movie. It's very funny. I have the DVD somewhere. So I have a thing with my other friend.
Is it not on Netflix anymore? That's where I watched it.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It probably got taken down like 5 years ago. It's
been a while. But anyway, so I have a thing with my friend group where we will go to Goodwill and we will buy really awful movies and watch them for like a movie night. And a while ago, we bought this movie called The Big Hit, and I'm almost positive no one here in this podcast has ever heard of
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. I don't know where, but I've heard of that.
I might have mentioned it before, but The Big Hit. I think I did mention
you. I think you did tell me about this.
Yeah. So The Big Hit. So The Big Hit has Mark Wahlberg in it.
Yeah, you told me about this. Yeah.
So I wanted to watch it again because there's something special about it. I'm telling you. So. It is bad. It is awful, but it is so like I can't even describe to you in words how ridiculous it is. I've been trying to figure out in my own mind if it is a satire on action movies or what the deal is. Because if you watch action scenes in this movie where they unload clips just unload clips, and they do these ridiculous like karate moves and all this, and it's mind-blowing. And it's got Marky Mark in it, and young Marky Mark in it. It's got really weird, awkward like sex scenes. It's got this really ridiculous final conclusion where Mark Wahlberg fights like the bad guy in a video store, and there's explosions going all over the place, and they blow up the building, and there's a car chase through the woods, and Marky Mark's on a cliff. Like, again, if this doesn't like interest you, I don't know what else will, because it is awful. Don't get me wrong, it is a really bad movie, but
it sounds like a. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's just like there's something so special about it, and I haven't. It's not room level bad, but it's like it's just kind of mind blowing if you watch it. Like, again, I don't know what else to really say about it. It's just I can't even give a proper rate on it. I can't even rate it on Letterboxd because it is just so like it's so bizarre. I've never seen it because it just I can't tell you if it's trying to make fun of action movies or if it's trying to be a ridiculous over the top action movie. It just doesn't make sense when you watch it. So.
You sold me. I kind of want to see it now.
It sounds like a really, really bad is trying to be sequel to like Boogie Nights if Boogie Nights was more action.
Yeah, no, but like
maybe it could be a film that Dirk Diggler made.
Oh my god.
But no, I couldn't believe that. No, dude, I'm telling you, if you can find it somewhere, I have it on DVD because I found it in a Goodwill. But it is bizarre. It really is.
I kind of want to go to Goodwill now and pick up some bad movies.
That sounds really fun.
That's what I do. So I'll go to Goodwill, I'll go to thrift stores, and I will purposely pick out like here. I have time to show. Hold on. All right. So I have I'm just throwing DVDs everywhere, but so we go to Goodwill and we find these ridiculous like movies. This one is called The Great. Will it show up? No. Never mind. No, never mind. Anyway,
yeah.
So you know what? Yeah, I'll you know what? I have time. I'm gonna do this. This is important. This is vital information. Do that. Yeah. No. Oh, I can't turn it off. Okay, never mind.
Over this whole section, Collin, you need to put over Alkaline Trio's Time to Waste.
Anyway, so this movie is called The Great Los Angeles Earthquake, and you probably can't even see it yet. It's just like fading in and out briefly. Yeah. But it's like this awful-looking B-movie made by Fremantle Media, starring Joanna Kearns, like actors I've never heard of. And if I could show you the thing, it is really, really awful. And again, this one is called 3 M's of the Bible: Marriage, Money, Miracles.
Oh, it's hilarious. Oh my god, what the fuck?
This one is you probably can't see
Assassin.
it.
I see Assassin.
Robert Conrad, and they look awful. I have a 10 action movie pack with like ridiculous awful movies. I have this George Clooney movie that seems really bad. It's called Michael Clayton, and I just got it because
I've heard that's good.
Well, it's great, yeah.
Oh.
Well, I guess I got a good movie. I thought the title just seemed so stupid to name a movie. Michael Clayton.
I mean, Jerry Maguire.
Again, I don't know. I just got it because it looked bad. I got this 3 movie pack. This is turning into like a really bad movie review, but I have to mention it because it's so funny.
No, this is quality stuff.
Yeah, Ghost Killers. It has 3 movies on it. 2 of them are from like the 1930s. And they are like B movies. Sounds awful. I also have Nicolas Cage's The Knowing.
Oh, actually, I kind of enjoy Knowing.
Well, I haven't seen it, and it's a Nick Cage movie, so I had to buy it, and I'll eventually watch it. And then this one is special. Space Warriors. And it is from the director of Soul Surfer. And but here's what's so funny about it. They somehow got Danny Glover in this movie.
Really?
Well, I mean, honestly, Danny Glover's been in a lot of bad movies.
Wow.
Yeah, and it sounds like Space Force, but with kids. So I'm gonna watch that eventually. And the last movie I have might be good, and I'll eventually watch these. Like I honestly, this week I might watch them after my birthday and come back and review all of these awful movies. But
so you have a bad movie week like I did.
Yes.
This
Cats and Dogs?
Called Cats and Dogs.
Oh my god, I've heard that one.
Starring Uma Thurman. And I got it because I was like, what's Uma Thurman doing in this movie? And if you can see the cover of it, it looks very quirky, very cool. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, big hit. I found the big hit in like the bottom of the Goodwill bin, and it is a very special film. So to everyone out there, highly recommend it. And yeah, I will probably watch a lot of these this next week, and I will report back to you all on how good they are, especially the 3 M's of the Bible: marriage, money, and miracles. I
That
think
did
that
sound
one
very interesting.
Yeah, that
That
one's
one-
easily the best.
again by John Hagee Ministries.
Ooh.
So
Cool.
cool. So shout out to John Hagee and wherever you are. And then for the last movies I watched this week, getting back on track here. What did I say? Where did I stop at? So I did watch Looper, and I watched The Five Bloods, the new Spike Lee joint. But there was another movie I watched. No, that
You
was
said it
this
right,
week.
Noah.
Oh yeah.
They both said it
Good
right.
job. Okay.
But
I don't.
so
It's a
yeah.
joke. It's a dumb joke.
But next week I will have a bad movie week. I definitely have a lot on my list here, obviously. And
Are you gonna
yeah.
watch the Thunster one, even though it's reportedly decent?
Yeah, I'll watch that. There's a movie I'm gonna mention because if it's good, I might bring it up. But there's this movie that's been on my radar for a really long time, and it's interesting. I don't know like what you guys watch as a child, but I used to like watch Boomerang and the Banana Split show.
Yeah.
Dude. There
Oh,
is
the
a
Banana
Banana
Splits
Splits
movie?
horror
Yeah,
movie. There's a
Mhm.
Banana Splits horror movie that I'm like very interested in watching because I just don't know how that's
see
gonna
it
work.
every single time I go to Target. It's like Five Nights at Freddy's if you watch the trailer.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it. I just know it's a thing, and I don't know. I'm interested. I want to watch it because I just don't know how you would mix a child's property with being a horror movie. But I guess I'll find out.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. All right, I'll be right back in about 10 minutes while you guys talk about the Five Bloods.
Enjoy your rotisserie chicken.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right, the Five Bloods.
All right,
the
duh,
new Spike,
Five Bloods.
the new Spike Lee joint.
Well, Noah, you like this a lot more than
Yeah.
of us. So you go ahead and give us your thoughts.
So I mean, honestly, I wasn't really, coming on here planning to defend it necessarily. So
Well, I mean, I don't think.
no.
Yeah.
I'm
I didn't
just
hate
saying,
it. I don't think me and Colin hated it.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying. Well, okay, whatever. I'm just saying I might not have the most cohesive series of thoughts on this.
Fair, yeah,
Sure,
fair.
yeah. That's fair.
And well, I guess my thesis statement is sort of I do think it's a movie. I mean, I guess if you like it, I don't know about if you don't like it, but I think if you like it, it'll definitely grow on the rewatch, or at least like there's just a lot to unpack there that I feel like you can only really get at with at least a rewatch and maybe even a couple of them. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's like there's a lot of things to talk about, sort of, and we don't have to touch on all of them necessarily.
Yeah.
But I do think the strongest element was the thematic underpinnings and kind of how everybody gets fucked in this sort of situation, and just like there are no really happy endings. Oh, I had a good term for it that I was thinking of earlier. Oh, right. How just like violence begets violence, and there's a lot of political and just emotional dissatisfaction. Is that a word? Whatever.
Yeah.
Like an unhappiness within both like the group of veterans and the group of Vietnamese and just like everybody else who kind of comes into the story.
Mhm.
And I think it's really interesting because I guess there is a happy ending, which I guess I was a little disappointed by, honestly, but because none of the main characters necessarily get like a concretely like, oh, they got what's coming for them, or like they got a really happy ending either. And so I think it's interesting in that sense. I do think the cinematography, specifically in the jungle, was maybe a little weak, and I definitely see your point on that. But I do think like in the city, and well, I guess mostly just in the city where they first arrive, I think it was very interesting. And I guess just one more thing I wanted to mention was I do think that the style, like a lot of it is just shot, reverse shot, or like intense close up, and there wasn't really a lot of interesting angles, which I think definitely could bother some people, and I'm sure it bothered you too. But I think I find it really interesting because it was very confrontational. It's just like shot, reverse shot. It's always building up tension between like different groups of people or different people. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Did you want me to go? Because I think I have a little bit more of a positive opinion compared to you, Colin.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
So, I do like Spike Lee a lot. I think Spike Lee has a lot to say when it comes to making movies, but I will go as far as say I don't think he's obviously not the most talented director, out there. And I think what Spike Lee tries to do is, very like noble. And I think what he like tries to do is like, he has good intentions about making movies and the message he's trying to convey to audiences. But I'm going to compare this movie to BlacKkKlansman because I just rewatched BlacKkKlansman like a week ago. And honestly, BlacKkKlansman to me is a better movie. And this movie, The Five Bloods, to me just felt a lot more rushed compared to BlacKkKlansman. And if you look, I don't even know when he made this movie. It feels like it didn't even take him like that long because BlacKkKlansman came out a year or two ago? I forget how long ago it came out. Yeah, it's been a little bit. So he's been maybe a year working on this movie, but I don't know. It just felt really rushed to me, but I really do like what he was trying to convey with the movie, and I really do like. I think this movie came out at a perfect time. I'm not saying that like in a really bad sense, but like this movie came out at a really good time, and I think what it has to say is very politically. I don't know the right term I'm looking for, but it's very politically
relevant.
Relevant. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. Relevant right now. And I think that the best part of the movie was Delroy Lindo, and I think he deserves an Oscar nomination. Honestly, if we were talking about the Oscars earlier, I think he definitely deserves a nomination because his performance in this movie was easily the best part of the movie for me. And again, I'll go into the little nitpicks. I thought the cinematography was again, like you said, Noah, a lot of close-up shots, a lot of extreme close-ups. There wasn't really a lot of like style to the movie either. I thought the soundtrack was okay. I know it was mainly Marvin Gaye, and I don't mind that, but it was just a little odd. And again, it was just, I don't know, it just felt very rushed to me. And I liked the movie. I thought it was good. I might rewatch it at some point. But out of all Spike Lee's movies, I think this is probably one of the least favorite I've seen. I definitely think BlacKkKlansman was a lot better. And one of the main reasons I think that was because this is kind of something I didn't like about BlacKkKlansman, but I think was done in a better way. At the end of BlacKkKlansman, he kind of shoves down the anti-Trump stuff down the throat with the whole Charlottesville footage. And it's like I could have gotten that point that you were trying to convey how back then in America it was almost the same as it is now. I would have gotten that same point conveyed if you didn't show this woman getting ran over by a car and showing a literal murder at the end of your movie. I still would have understood what you were trying to convey point-wise without having to see that. And that's another reason I felt about this movie. I really did not want to see all the bodies and all of the, mutilated corpses of like, footage and all of that, and all of the anti-Trump, messages in the movie. I get Spike Lee does not like Trump, and a lot of people do not like Trump, but I really do not like having politics like that shoved down my throat. And it's kind of one of the reasons I didn't really like the movie, because at least in BlacKkKlansman, it was kind of like at the very end of the movie, and it was like, oh, okay, whatever. But this movie, there was just a lot more of it, and I just don't like that when a filmmaker is just so politically just out there. I want to watch a movie to either forget about real life or to look at like, especially with this movie, look at how it was back then and compare it to now. And that's really all I have to say about the movie. I really do think people should watch it. I think it's very interesting in terms of like just all the historical aspects of it. And I know, Collin, you had a nitpick with the older actors being in the flashbacks. And I think, honestly, I think that was a stylistic choice, because the way I perceived it was more of like they were, thinking about it in their head, and it was like that. It was kind of them being back in the moment. And I can get why people don't like that, but I thought that was okay. I kind of get why they couldn't get newer younger actors to do the old actors, but I thought it was kind of an interesting way to put it, because they were honestly kind of the whole movie reliving their old battle in a way. And sure. I thought that was pretty nice. But other than that, take it to you, Collin.
No, I see what you're saying there. And for me, honestly, it was just a small creative choice that I just didn't find.
No, absolutely, yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll go back to just what you guys have said. I would agree that stylistically, this film is pretty lacking compared to other Spike Lee movies. I mean, I've only seen Do the Right Thing and Black Klansman, but I was it just felt bland, you know. I mean, obviously, like the cinematography is good and the filmmaking is competent. You know, technically, it's a decently made movie, you know. But and honestly, the lack of style wasn't necessarily the biggest thing that got to me.
Yeah.
I just felt like thematically and narratively, the movie was really messy. And whether you want to say that's purposeful or not, it really took me out of it. Like Sebastian mentioned with the unsubtle approach that Spike Lee has when it comes to movies, you come in expecting that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, after seeing Do the Right Thing and Black Klansman, you know, you come to expect he's not the most subtle of directors when he has something to say. So I came in expecting that. However, it still does bother me. I prefer subtlety where you can like come out of something and really think about it rather than kind of like what Sebastian said, having something forced down your throat. And like you do mention, the actual like archival footage of actual murder and stuff has a point to it, but at the same time, it is a bit brazen, you know.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
You know, they should at least tack on a warning or something.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't expect that at all. Like when watching the movie, it kind of was just thrown there, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, you know, I've seen Vietnam footage, but
that's gonna put off a lot of people. I read lots of other reviews, and there were several people like that couldn't get past the opening because you see an actual Vietnamese person shot in the head. You see pictures of infants with like their faces blown off and stuff. It's graphic. It serves its point, but and I can see why he would include it like that. But like we mentioned, there are plenty more subtle ways to get the message across as well. The main issue I had with the movie was it's really long. It doesn't need to be 2.5 hours. I think this is similar to what Noah said when he watched The Wailing. You said it simply wasn't your cup of tea, and you know, that's actually from Spike Lee himself. This simply just wasn't my cup of tea, you know. I thought thematically it was way too over the top and too in your face about it. Narratively, it was pretty boring, and I found lots of plot beats rather predictable and just unaffecting when it came to emotion. Also, I felt like the tone was really mishandled. Obviously, like, there are moments of levity and stuff because you're within this, you get to know these characters as a group and friends and stuff. But there were some really odd humor, odd comedy choices, and tonally, I thought it was all over the place, either over the top and exaggerated in like its final action set piece, or certain things. Like, I'm gonna be honest, when I forget the character's name, but he's back. They're in the jungle. They're having an argument or something. He's backing up and hits a landmine. That came out of nowhere, and I laughed.
Me too.
It played off like it was a joke, but it wasn't trying to be. It was definitely a more dramatic moment, and
I think it's whatever. I think it's sort of trying to do both. I don't know. Maybe not that.
I mean,
but that's kind of what he's trying to say, because it was like just tonally like all over the place in terms of that. Because I noticed that too. I that same scene, I kind of chuckled too. I'm like, it was just odd. There's a lot of odd choices like that.
My immediate reaction, I laughed pretty hard, and then I thought, and I was like, because right after that, it gets very serious, and I was like, he can't be trying to satirize because it doesn't feel on the nose enough. But yeah, I just felt like it was totally inconsistent, and that really took away any enjoyment I had throughout the movie. It really grated on me, and yeah, I mean, other nitpicks that I had. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you know, I've seen a lot of Vietnam movies, and don't get me wrong, like, I don't have a problem with a director like doing like a documentary or something with like actual Vietnam footage and stuff like that. But it was like I didn't really expect that going into this movie, that he was just gonna like right away like, oh yeah, here's all this actual footage. I thought, it was mainly going to be about the brothers and the friends that
Mhm.
yeah, were experiencing, going back to Vietnam and really kind of reliving the war almost. And I don't really think that was necessary. I get he's trying to convey that, how bad the war was and everything, but there are so many Vietnam movies I've seen that you get that same exact point with actually having to show real war footage. Example, Apocalypse Now, Platoon are probably the two best ones I can think of, and both of those movies do not show a single bit of real Vietnam footage. Now, Apocalypse Now is it's historically, like, it looks like Vietnam and it feels like Vietnam. It feels like they were actually there, but you don't have any of that actual, like, raw brutality. You have the Hollywood, budget. And what I was going to say was, when it comes to the Five Bloods, I think with another director, I'm not saying Spike Lee's not a good director. I think that this story was really great in terms of if a good director got their hands on this. I feel like there is a good movie here, and if a competent, I'm not saying Spike Lee's not competent, but I'm saying a better director was able to helm this film. This could have been a fantastic film.
Sure. I think what happens here is the message gets in the way of the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like because of all the ideas that Spike Lee is trying to cram in, not only from the opening to the ending and all the little spaces in between, it just gets muddled. And by the end, I didn't get anything from it. I understood like what Noah said, how the war kind of screws over everyone. There's no happy ending. But it just felt so confused and so inconsistent throughout that I really didn't care by the time it ended. Sure, there were, I thought the performances were good. I didn't think any of them were really great. Dialogue also was really weird. It was really on the nose at points where it had to, like, it felt very expository, and like it was over explaining things. But you got exactly what it meant from some of the images alone. I felt like another disappointing note was how little Chadwick Boseman was actually in this. I didn't feel like that arc or that whole plot point was explored as well as it could have been. And maybe that is because I just wasn't really enjoying it. And also I thought, just the message got in the way of the narrative. But I don't know. Yeah, I really didn't like it.
Yeah, people were taking shots at you on your review on your Letterboxd.
No, not really. I actually, that's what I was worried about.
Well, like the one guy was like having like a yeah. That's what I meant. I meant that as like a kind of a joke, but people were like, hey, I thought it was a lot better than you did.
Yeah, I mean, we had a constructive conversation about it.
But yeah, no, I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. I really do think if another director had gotten their hands on this story, it could have been a lot better and a lot more impactful. It definitely, like, when I watched the movie, that's kind of how I felt majority of the movie. I'm like, if a really good director got hands on this movie, this could be like one of the best war movies like in a long time. It really has a lot to say, and Spike Lee just simply didn't really deliver to me personally. I mean, again, I think he did okay. I think it's an okay movie. I just don't think it's anything to brag or boast about, so.
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things was, I wonder if they did rush post-production to get it out at a time. That's just something interesting to think about, because I feel like it does feel a bit rushed in certain departments. Like in the edit, it definitely could have been trimmed. Some things could have been more refined. And I wonder if that was just Spike Lee wanting to get it out at the right moment, at a relevant moment. So,
it does look like it was supposed to be screened at Cannes this year, and then play in May or June, and then stream on Netflix. So I guess it was pushed up like a little bit, but not by that much.
Sure.
So, but whatever.
Well,
I mean,
when was it supposed to come out on Netflix, though?
Well, if it's playing in select theaters for May or June. I mean, I'm just looking at Wikipedia right now, so it doesn't have everything, and it might be wrong.
So Did they have any screenings of this movie?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, they sent out screeners, but I don't think they had
Yeah.
any screenings.
Hmm.
Because it said it was supposed to debut at Cannes, which I guess implies that it didn't. I guess Cannes was
it got
canceled.
delayed.
I wasn't really paying attention.
That's kind of again, that's kind of another thing. I did feel like it was very rushed and it could have been cleaned up a bit. So that is a little interesting, and I guess that does make a little sense to me, Colin. I think that with the political climate now, I think he probably just wanted to get the movie out now.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and it definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Like even just like in 2019, for him to be like, okay, I'm gonna release this like in 2020. So that I don't have to worry about like Trump's re-election or whatever, however that changes the climate if it does.
Sure. I also think that the current climate situation going on also kind of influences how people have felt about the movie or how they wanted to feel.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I talked about briefly in my review. There was obviously a lot of hype of this movie.
Yeah.
And because Spike Lee is known for his outspoken political opinions and stuff, in such a tumultuous time, it made sense that this would garner a lot of attention. And I wonder if its current praise has anything to do with people wanting it to be good rather than it actually being as good as some people are saying it is.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean,
yeah.
but that happens to a lot of movies like Joker.
Sure,
certainly.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, that's just interesting to think about. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say on it.
Yeah.
Looper.
Yeah. Looper. Woo!
The movie.
Yeah.
Sebastian,
All right,
this was your pick.
So I like time travel movies a lot, and I am quite a big fan of just time travel in general. And I always thought Looper was kind of an interesting take on time travel. And I'll just say my thoughts real quick on the movie. I really do like this movie, and I do think it's Rian Johnson's best movie. And I really do think Bruce Willis gave an actually good performance, legit. He really tends to just kind of be on the sidelines and kind of cameos and does things just to get money.
Yeah.
But he seems in this movie to actually have cared about the story and his character, and in my opinion, he gave a pretty good performance considering how old he's getting. I think Joseph Gordon-Levitt in this movie is also fantastic. I really like him, and it's kind of a shame that he's kind of, I don't know, I haven't seen him in a lot lately. He's kind of gone to the sideline.
He's been doing a
He
lot
was
of
in The Last
non-acting
Jedi.
stuff.
He's
He's in every single Rian Johnson movie,
Yeah.
but just small cameos.
Really
Yeah.
small stuff.
Yeah, he's just a voice in Knives Out, and he's only a voice in Last Jedi, and it's only 3 words, not even a whole
I
sentence.
No, it's a little more substantial. It's like a
Is it?
motion capture Alien, but
Oh,
it's still
okay,
like 2
okay, my bad.
lines. It's not that
I
much.
see. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I didn't even know he was in the movie. So
Yeah.
Because he was
Thank you for
he was a
that.
motion capture, or like he had a mask on, something like that. It wasn't his face.
I'll just bring this up now since you were talking about the actors. Yeah, I agreed. I didn't expect Bruce Willis to have that great of a performance in this, and it was actually really, really fucking good. All the actors did great. I'm very sad Paul Dano wasn't in it for longer because, as we mentioned earlier, I fucking adore Paul Dano, but that's just me. I feel like it was smart to cut him out because I don't know how you'd fit his character in with the story, but we'll talk about that later.
But yeah, no. Again, I think this movie is really good, and what I was going to bring up with this movie is with a lot of movies, you kind of have the problem with lots of plot holes. And don't get me wrong, this movie is not a flawless film. It has a lot of flaws. But there's something I just thought was interesting to bring up. And I don't know if you guys will agree with this, but this is kind of one of the movies that I've watched over the years that kind of on the rewatch, I thought the same thing. It establishes this world and establishes all of this, the rules with its time travel, but you just kind of forget about it because the movie is so entertaining and it is just kind of so fun. And
I think part of that, which works, is it's self-aware of how illogical it is.
Yeah.
I think the conversation between Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Bruce Willis at the diner, where he says, I could talk about time travel, but you don't even need to worry about it. I think that was Rian Johnson saying, this movie's about time travel.
Yeah.
It's messy.
But we're not going to talk about
it,
time travel. Yeah.
It's self-aware in that sense, to where you can overlook lots of the logical
Yeah, because
flaws.
if you really want to nitpick about the movie, you could literally, the time travel does not make any sense because especially the finale of the film. It really also does not make any sense if you want to talk about the quote unquote rules of time travel, because it really does not. The whole finale of the movie.
My thing is it very establishes early how illegal time travel is, but then never deals with that dynamic. I was really hoping for a little bit more of that, but I guess it establishes how powerful a criminal syndicate is.
But
That was
also,
one of my issues with it.
yeah, see, and if you want to talk about more plot holes, you could also talk about how in the future they can't murder people, but if they were to send people back into the past and murder them, wouldn't they
how
be
would
able
they
to
not
find
know?
the evidence of that same murder like 30 years from then?
Well, wait,
I think
that would also
they incinerate them.
Yeah, they incinerate them.
Right?
Yeah, because there's
that was the thing.
Yes,
they were saying it's because of tracking technology in the future. It wasn't able to you weren't rid the body easily, and so they would send them back in time.
Yeah,
before that tracking technology was developed.
Do you remember the scene? Joseph, I think it's the first kill. Joseph Gordon-Levitt kills, or Joe. Joe kills his first dude and brings him into like an abandoned down warehouse and throws him into an incinerator.
Yeah,
right.
But I was just saying, like, I mean, you could really like nitpick and say, well, couldn't they technically find evidence of that in the future? You know, like if there's tracking technology is a thing, they could. Well, anyway, yeah. But again, I just that's why I kind of like this movie because, again, correct me if I'm wrong. In my opinion, I haven't seen many movies that are kind of like that give off that vibe of like, yeah, this is a really flawed movie, but we're aware of that, but we're just going to kind of continue on, and you just can forget about this really detrimental point to the plot. And that's what I think Looper does so well. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, the time travel does not really make any sense to me when it comes down to the finale. Like, if I really
because it both establishes branching off timelines. It establishes both the Back to the Future time travel logic and the Endgame time travel logic. And you can't really have both of those.
Good pop culture references for that one.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, he's absolutely correct because I mean, if you want to talk about the finale,
I agree.
I forget what the bad guy is that he was trying to stop.
The Rainmaker.
Because Bruce Willis is.
I have his name written down.
Yeah.
Sid. Sid is the kid's name.
Yeah, but Bruce Willis is physically responsible for him going down the path that he does. Yeah. But then it doesn't really make any sense because how would he is directly responsible. It's kind of like Terminator in a way because I've always had a problem with Terminator because with Terminator, it's like, what's his, God, it's been a long time since I've seen Terminator, but whatever, the father of John Connor goes back into the past and impregnates Sarah Connor, and therefore John Connor becomes a hero of the Resistance. Yeah. But how would that even make any sense? Because someone
that's insane. I've never seen Terminator. That's crazy.
Neither have I.
But it has that. Well, I'm trying to make a point is that the future in this movie directly makes the future because the future interacts with the past, therefore makes the future. And the same thing with Terminator, the future interacts with the past, therefore making the real future. And if Bruce Willis did not do what he did, then there would be no future with Bruce Willis. So it doesn't really make any sense. But the movie is just so fun and just ridiculous that I love it so much.
I don't know. I don't hate the ending, actually. I like the idea of him seeing it and
the ending. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't get me wrong. I like it. Yeah.
Well, no, I don't even think it's that like discrepant, if that's a word, right? Discrepant. Yeah, like I don't think it's full of discrepancies. I don't really find things. I don't like look at it and I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
No,
like,
me neither.
There's plenty of endings that I've had like that, but that one I really like how he said it. I don't like the opening narration, but I feel like it establishes that narration might be there, and I like how it goes back to the ending narration to provide meaningful and useful context. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the opening narration was something that they added later. Because I do feel like it could totally play out. Like you just see Joe killing his first person, and then, but like until you watch the rest of the movie, like that just wouldn't make any sense, and you'd be like, what's going on here?
Well, I don't hate that because there's definitely plenty of films that open and you're confused. I think the opening narration was actually probably explicitly added for the purpose of having the ending narration make sense, right? Sure. Because if you just started talking to the audience itself in the end, that would have not been great. And I feel like his emotion, like the emotion Jogo shows in his voice.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. The emotion he shows in his voice when he's doing that ending narration is actually pretty substantial. And I feel like they tried one where they like filmed that shot and had a test screening where it was just all the shots lined up together, and they realized that that wasn't nearly as emotional as the narration over it. It's my opinion.
I mean, hold on. Yeah, I just had a moment where I couldn't speak there for a second. Other than the logical issues that we've already discussed, the main issue I had with the movie, which isn't even that big of a thing, but it kind of goes along. It made me think of it when you mentioned the narration. Was the narration? I don't think it's bad. I think it's a decent use of narration here.
Yeah.
However, I wish they would have explored the world more than what you're actually given. You know, because the narration establishes some of the rules, like how time travel became illegal, but they do it from the future. Boop-a-doop. You know, we got tracking technology, tags, and all. I would have liked to see a bit more. As interesting as the world is, I would have liked to see more from it, especially in the future. I would have liked to see
the telekinesis and stuff.
Yeah, telekinesis feels kind of just like a thing they decided to throw in the mix.
Well, that was really important in the plot itself.
It was, but it does feel kind of like a convenience.
Yeah, I feel like that. My cop point very much aligns with yours. Yours is definitely a more overarching version of that, right? Because I would have loved to see why the cops deemed it so illegal. Obviously, it has its own implications, and we're shown the implications. But I would have loved to see like them cracking down on it, maybe.
And I would have liked to see some more from the Rainmaker as well, to establish him as like how bad he actually is and how harshly he runs the crime syndicate in the future.
Oh, interesting. I disagree with both of those points.
I disagree with the second one personally. I'll take it up when Noah finishes.
So I think the thing with time travel being banned instantly is, I think that's a great concept, because I don't really think we'd gain that much from like learning why, because I think it's like, I mean, like when you hear that, it makes sense. Like, yeah, like time travel's illegal. Like there's so much like shit that you could do. And like when time travel was first invented, like you wouldn't even know necessarily like how much you could actually like, you know, change history, or if you would destroy the space-time continuum or whatever. Like you wouldn't even know what was like possible to change. So I think it's just, even if it doesn't totally make sense narratively, I think thematically it's just like, yeah, time travel's illegal. Okay, good, go. And then for the Rainmaker thing, I really like the ambiguity surrounding it, like where you don't even fully know if it's Sid.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's pretty obvious.
I guess it is sort of obvious. Well, no, I mean,
at first, I think the main tip-off to it not was the when he kills the first kid, and then he shows the scene of him remembering his wife. I like that a lot. It actually provides a lot to Bruce Willis's character and his arc too. Yeah. But I think it's very odd, like very fast to find a Sid, especially when you start watching that character, man. And I agree with the ambiguity part for future Sid / Rainmaker. And I think that honestly, it's the scene, the flashback to Bruce Willis writing down the numbers is a good enough representation about how evil that dude is. Because holy fuck, like that was a war zone.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I guess so. I feel like this is just a movie I need to watch again.
Yeah, honestly.
Honestly, I think the main thing about this movie, I do find it frustrating in a lot of ways, but I think the main thing about this movie is it does have the perfect amount of exposition. Like if you had less exposition, I think it would just make like no sense whatsoever.
Sure.
And if you had more exposition, it would also not make any sense, because you'd be like, wait, but like why
then it would be like trying to explain itself.
I think it would have it would have had like a different
doesn't really
style of
together.
audience.
It's more, like I said, thematic logic, and it's more just the story of.
There's definitely an argument there where like there could have been different forms of exposition, because narration's obviously very often considered lazy exposition, but I don't actually hate it here. Like when it started, I had my usual narration moment. It happens whenever I watch anything, but then it was solid. I didn't hate it, and
I think
then the ending narration was really good.
I think the best comparison in terms of like how this narration kind of made me feel was kind of like with Blade Runner.
Really?
Yes, because okay, here I'll go. I
You're
always
talking
bring up
about
Blade Runner.
you're talking about the theatrical cut here?
Yeah, the theatrical
Yeah.
cut. Because the thing with the theatrical cut of Blade Runner is I have a soft spot for it, but at the same time I do like the end, like just kind of like being thrown into the world of Blade Runner without having Harrison Ford tell me about what's going on and his thoughts. And that's kind of the way I am about this movie. Like it kind of balances, like Noah said, like the exposition pretty well, because if I was just thrown into the world and I didn't know anything about what's going on, and then I didn't understand like the characters and like what they were thinking, especially like with Joe and like what he's doing, it would have been a little less effective in my opinion. But it works a lot better than Harrison Ford with telling me about like, just with the Blade Runner theatrical cut is okay.
It's like if there was a director's cut for this, I feel like the theatrical cut would be more favored, and obviously for Blade Runner, everyone knows which cut's favored.
Well, yeah.
Well, even if anyone has personal opinions, I've definitely seen the opinions that people like the theatrical. The director's cut's much more famous.
The director's cut's better.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that point. I want to bring up a couple pros cons I had written down, and actually, the pros kind of a joke. I like this film a lot. There's many other pros that I can go in depth about, but most of them were mentioned, so I won't take that time. But what I had written down was just a dumb joke. So Sid's moment where he gets shot is actually a more badass, he should have aimed for the head moment than Thanos. Like, that moment is so sick. Oh, Jesus Christ. That whole lineup. That was bad. That was a bad joke that you laughed at?
Well, I was talking about the sick part, where you really emphasize the Sid in front of sick.
Oh, well, I said Sid.
Well, you said, didn't you say
Oh,
Sid
did I?
Sick. Yeah,
oh,
you said both.
Whatever. And then
speaking of which, can we talk about his performance? Because I thought that child performance was amazing.
Yeah, so did I. At first, I was like, oh, I'm not going to like this, but he really...
But by the way, so what is that kid from? I've seen that kid's face in something before. Yeah. Because when I was watching the movie again, I'm like, I have seen this kid's face before in something. I'm like, who is this kid? Because he was in
Twin Peaks.
Huh?
Season 3.
Oh, yeah.
Land.
He's in Scoob.
Okay.
He's in Tomorrowland.
Yeah, I was gonna say Tomorrowland.
Yeah, you actually did say
that. That's it. Yeah, Tomorrowland. Which
Who is he in Scoob? Pierce. He is young Fred in Scoob.
Nice. Okay, great. Thank you, Thomas.
I was interested.
Wow, I had never thought I'd hear. I have not even thought about Tomorrowland in years. Wow.
Here, let me talk about these two cons I run down.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll talk about the first one. These aren't nitpicky because we went over like the nitpicky cons. I think that there's some bad sound mixing in the film in terms of it felt everything was loud, like the fight scenes and the general action scenes were a bit too overemphasized on the bullets because I was at one volume in my headphones. I will often watch movies with headphones. Sometimes I'll watch on speakers. On speakers, it's a different story where I need to like turn up sometimes. But I would be at the same volume and like I could hear people whispering and it was still quiet. I understood it was whispering and then the gunshots would come and I need to turn down immediately because it was blasting.
I didn't notice that because I just watched it on my TV.
Yeah. This is definitely more of a nitpick if it comes to if you watch a film on headphones or earbuds sometimes. But it's
a lot different when you see it in theaters as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure, because you expect that big surround sound experience. But even I sometimes have that issue if it comes on TV. That's often more of a personal thing that comes up. And then my other big issue, and this was probably the mainstay reason I didn't rate it as high as I would have if this didn't exist. I really think that's Kid the Blue, right? Or was it something else?
Kid Blue.
Yeah, I think Kid Blue overstayed his welcome in a massive portion. And I also really, really didn't like the Deus Ex Machina of Kid Blue showing up at the final climactic scene just to then die. His character should have been over with when he got shot.
I don't know. I didn't mind his character.
Yeah, and I do think you need like a distract for the conflict. Like you think it's going to be like Joe versus Old Blue, and then it's Joe versus Sid. But whatever.
Yeah, I like his character at first, and I think at first his character added a nice little implication to the story. But over time, I kind of got sick of it. That's it for me. I definitely think it would have done better, but it's a great film, honestly. I really, really fucking enjoyed it, and I'm glad I finally watched it. Sebastian, great pick.
Yeah, it's entertaining, great action. Special effects are pretty good too.
Great acting.
And
Yeah,
I just think the concept is cool. In
Oh,
all
yeah, for
honesty, yeah.
Great as
Time
concept.
travel
One
on
of the best parts.
like a loopy loop.
Mhm.
Yeah, closing the loop, which again, even that, I just love how, like, again, the film establishes this world. I think Colin might have said something about this. I really would like to see a little more done with this world, because there's a lot of interesting, like, world building they can do with
Yeah,
this.
in my review, I said it could work as like a limited series or even expanded like TV series.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I could honestly see it in the way that the Matrix has the Animatrix, that they honestly could do a fucking like
little
anime
different
series.
stories.
Yeah.
Or like the Blade Runner animated little short films and stuff.
Yeah, there's just a lot of, like, there's a lot they could do here that it's just, I don't know. When it came out, I thought it was a pretty fresh, interesting idea, and I'm glad you guys liked it, because I don't know. I thought it was really good.
So
Yeah, this is my favorite.
Obviously gets a 2 thumbs up from the Post Pro podcast.
4 thumbs up. Actually, 8 thumbs up. I don't know.
Yeah. I'd give it a thumbs up and a 3/4. You know?
Okay. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, so you're like a thumbs up in a middle, you know? This should be our rating, right? When we're finished talking about the pick, we should do that.
That's gonna be so messy.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious. But great pick. Obviously we liked it, and this week is Noah's pick.
Noah's pick, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
All right, so I'm gonna go with my original pick. So on this podcast, we haven't really covered a lot of comedies, or at least a lot of like explicit, this is mainly a comedy. So I thought I'd change that this week. So I'd been wanting to revisit this film for a while now, which I saw once a couple of years back. And I thought it was very funny. And
I know what it is. I have a guess.
Okay. Actually, you might, yeah. It is A Fish Called Wanda, which is...
I didn't know what it is at all.
Oh, okay.
I thought the other guys was on Hulu, so I felt like you can pick the other guys.
He didn't even like it. So
You didn't like it? Fuck.
The other guys?
Oh, not the other guys. Not the other guys.
Oh, you're thinking of the nice guys.
Nice guys.
Okay. No, but that's pretty true. But A Fish Called Wanda from 1988, so I think it's probably the oldest one we've covered too.
Yeah, I think so.
Has Jamie Lee Curtis. I thought it was funny the first time I saw it. Who knows how I'll think about it this time.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I have heard of it as well, but I have never dipped my toes into it, so I'm kind of
excited. I have never heard of it until this moment.
Well, you said Jamie Lee Curtis, and that's kind of enough for me to get invested. So I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's definitely a good point. I'll have to think about maybe doing an older film that I like a lot, or maybe even an older film that I don't like that much, and see your guys' takes.
We could all watch A Birth of a Nation.
Yeah, great idea. I'd love to spend 3 hours doing that. All right, Collin, you want to close out this podcast?
Sure. Yeah. So check it out next week. Post Pro Podcast for episode 12 next week. This is wrapping up episode 11. God, this is all over the place. What a messy we've had. So that wraps up episode 11 of the Post Pro Podcast. Check out next week when we review A Fish Called Wanda.
Signing off.
Yeah. All right. Did you stab?